Okay, so it is 11 a.m. New York time, 6 p.m. for Iman Gara, who joins us from Israel. And her talk is called When the Curriculum Meets the Game, Teachers' Perspectives on a Digital Curricular Game and Students' Engagement. So Iman, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
You need to share your screen now.
Yes, I will. Okay, so my presentation is entitled, as you see, When the Curriculum Meets the Game, Teachers' Perspectives on a Digital Curricular Game and Students' Engagement. I'll introduce myself a bit. I'm Iman. I'm a lecturer and researcher in the field of English language, English as a foreign language teaching. My research in general was in teaching English as a foreign language for Arab speakers, mainly Arabs living in Israel. All the time I was skeptical about incorporating gaming into English as a foreign language teaching and English as a foreign language classroom. But observing my own children my sons engaging in different games and acquiring the language from a natural context have changed my perception. I wanted to base my observations on a more scientific evidence, and thus I opted to the research of the wonderful world of digital games and gamifications. One of the educational games specifically grabbed my attention because my own sons all the time played it, and because it was curricular at the same time. It was based on the curriculum. It included all the materials of English language teaching in the curriculum through the game. And this game is very popular within the community that I live within. And it's very popular among my children and their peers and their classmates. And it was only used last year by the schools. It was introduced last year to the schools, but it became very popular and gained popularity. And it was based on the curriculum, as I just mentioned. And then came the question. That's the story of where I started the study of games and gamification. So I started thinking, what is it that makes this game so appealing to these kids, even though that it includes the school material? I'll just give a short background about the game. It's not, I'm not marketing the game, but I'm just telling about this game that grabbed my attention. It's called Vukatuki, and as it says, it is the fun way of learning English. And these are my observations, my own observations about the game. The game is aligned with the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, that is the CFR, which is how the Israeli curricular plan for teaching English as a foreign language goes. And it includes a practice for various language learning skills like teaching speaking, teaching vocabulary, spelling, writing, and of course language skills, including grammar. Once I started looking deeply at the game, you can observe that it includes autonomous learning, but it can also be within the class. It is student-centered because the student can learn by himself, and he's also the star.
Iman?
Playing,
solving. Iman, can I interrupt you quickly? Sorry. Yes. Iman, we can only see the first slide. You need to move your slides, please.
You can see, that's interesting.
Now we see the second.
Can you see it now?
We see the second slide now.
Oh,
autonomous learning, student-centered, it's what we see now. Challenges from previous literature.
Okay, that's where I'm autonomous learning. That's where you...
Yeah,
that's okay. Sorry about this.
Now we can see it. Okay, thanks.
So as I just mentioned, it is based on autonomous learning, student-centered. It includes a problem solving, continual learning. It also provides pathways to mastery through entertainment and pleasure. It involves teamwork, like the class plays together against another team, which is from the other class. It involves collaborative work, but at the same time, it involves the together and alone. Why together? Because this is the whole class is a team, but it is alone because each one plays for himself to be the winner at the end of the day. It involves higher order thinking skills, including cause and effect, understanding the cause and the effect, and what happens if I do this. So the results and the effects of their behaviors in the game, and the student experiences learning without failing. Okay, I moved. Okay, so from previous literature, I before this game, or not before this game, like from the previous literature, what are the challenges that teachers have encountered? The challenges included pedagogical and also technological challenges. When we talk about technological challenges, when we talk about insufficient availability of mobile devices, internet connections, and also many studies have mentioned this, and also teachers in my study have mentioned these among the challenges that they have faced, as I will elaborate. The pedagogical challenges, of course, obviously include pedagogical challenges, whether we're talking about the content that is not usually based on the curriculum, or only part of the curriculum is involved in the game. And also other pedagogical issues, including also classroom management, for example. Okay.
Iman, sorry, I think we do not see the correct slide. Okay, now you changed again. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I'm really sorry about this. It seems to be a problem with the computer.
No problem.
Okay, so the framework, the theoretical underpinning for this study that I'm not going to elaborate on this presentation has to do with foreign language acquisition and Vygotsky's constructivist learning model and teachers' influence on students' achievements. Okay, the participants of the study. The study has two methods, okay, twofold, including interviews of 12 teachers who are participants, who are teachers of students or pupils who use this game or application, and 62 teachers out of 100 teachers who used this game last year. And the 62 teachers answered a questionnaire involving different questions. And the interview questions are, of course, they are all from Israel, Arab teachers from Israel. The research questions that were addressed to the teachers in the interviews are: what are the elements that lead to high pupils' engagement in a curriculum-based gamified platform from the teachers' perspectives? What are the challenges faced by pupils using curriculum-based application from the teacher's perspective, again, pedagogical and technological? And what is the importance of teachers in autonomous learner curricular game in the Vukatuki as an example? So these were the three main questions in the interviews. Okay. And of course, the method was, we transcribed the interviews, we translated them, we transcribed them and then translated them into English for the sake of publishing the study. And we categorized the themes and the findings according to thematic analysis method. So what are the findings? What leads to high pupils' engagement? First stands as with the highest rate, teachers' encouragement and follow-up of the students' progress. And teachers, they also mentioned the competition elements, the challenge, and I'll elaborate on the first two in a second. The gender of the participants, mostly girls were more competitive than boys, and the game design. Of course, that's also one of the findings that the pre and the post tests, the impact of the gamified learning on the learning of students, concluded that the method improves learning quality. So pupils have improved very high, specifically in spelling and in vocabulary acquisition. As an answer to the question, do you think the game wastes the time of the class? The majority of the teachers mentioned that, on the contrary, there is no waste of time. I'm now quoting Azhar, who is a teacher who used the game with her class in her classroom. She says, the truth is that the game encourages independent learning, and this in itself have saved a lot of time. I think it saved a lot of time. Fida says, that's another participant. She says, because the game allows the students to progress at their own time and pace and at their own houses, this saves a lot of time. This gives me more time to focus on reading comprehension, for example. Another teacher named Jonia, she says, specifically with the spelling and vocabulary learning, this saved a lot of time, and this saved a lot of time instead of checking their exams. The app helped me in doing this instead of the teacher. As the second point, the teachers mentioned that the game offers plenty of scaffolding opportunities as opposed to the previous literature that examined digital games where lack of scaffolding opportunities were mentioned. I'm quoting Rania. This is the first time I see this is the first time where I see scaffolding opportunities available for the student at his own time and at his own pace, at his own house. And I, as a teacher, feel okay about this. Teachers mentioned also the importance of high accuracy of translation. I have actually been in contact with the company and asked about the accuracy of translation because it translates contextually rather than word by word as opposed to Google Translate. And they said that they done it, there was a human translation rather than Google Translate or any other artificial intelligence utility. So one teacher says, this is the first time I see an accurate translate and not Google Translate like a translation. Being humorous, she said, with all the respect to Google Translate. Okay, and also contextualize the grammar translation as opposed to decontextualize the grammar translation exercises and audiolingual drills. And all these cover the pedagogical challenges that were previously present for teachers in digital games in the classroom. Now, what stands most obviously is the role of teachers. All the 12 participants said that teachers' role stands as a very important element in the success and popularity of this game among their pupils. They consider themselves to play an important role for encouraging their students to play the game and to learn the curriculum through the game. I'm quoting Wala, the game is excellent, but I would say that without me as a teacher being there in the background, encouraging the pupils to play and telling them that we are in a competition and we must be winners, I think the pupils wouldn't be encouraged to continue. It was my job to tell them, oh, you should overcome class 6C. You are way better than them. Our school should beat the other schools. Don't let me down. Another teacher, Sausan, says, most of pupils were enthusiastic to keep on because I was there telling them that I have checked their progress. To tell you the truth, I didn't keep track on them all the time, but the fact that they thought that I am observing them encouraged them to keep on playing. I think competition stands as number one element that encouraged the majority of my students to play this game. But this first and foremost has to do with my role as a teacher. Without me, they wouldn't keep on playing. From teachers' perspectives, what also was a main finding is that elements of motivation, the game mechanics, played an important role in encouraging students to keep on and to play this game and to enjoy the game. The game mechanics are defined as the processes, the fundamental actions, and control mechanisms that are integrated into gamify activity in order to create an engaging experience for learners. The game mechanics include, but of course not limited to, level badges, storytelling, space, point, virtual goods. Virtual goods are very important for, we're talking about elementary school kids. So these are important to them, the challenge, the charity, and the gifts. And this is something obvious. Okay, I'll now report on the findings of the questionnaire. This was distributed in Arabic, so I'll translate the questions and the findings into English. The first question was among the users, because this is, as I mentioned in the beginning, an autonomous application or autonomous website. So the pupil can use it at his own time at his house or also at school. The first question was addressed: did you use, that's for teachers, did you use the application with your pupils in the class? And 90.3 of them said that they have done, while only 90.7 didn't incorporate this into their classes. The second question is that, do you think that the application helps in improving the vocabulary among your students? And 46, we've got a very high rate of teachers thinking that it raises, it improves their vocabulary. And it's 46 that they think that it improves their vocabulary, but also we have a very high rate for with 20. It's not 46 the number, but the percentage is 74, which is a very high rate. And also 21% with the Likert scale think that with the number 4, which is also a high percentage of teachers think that the application or the game contributed in developing the vocabulary or the lexicon of their students. The second question applies for spelling with 58% plus 30.6. So it's around 90% of the teachers think that it contributes to improving the spelling level of their pupils. Okay, here about healthy competition among students. Also, teachers think that there is this healthy competition between them. Here about the game, that it applies also to different levels of students, including the very good students, the excellent and the gifted, and also the weak students with the less achievements. So 48% think that yes, it contributes and it is appropriate for them. That's about whether the game applies also for gifted students, and that applies for students, the second question. So the majority of teachers.
Okay, we seem to have lost Iman. So probably she has some internet issues. Sorry about that. And Vimala, also thanks for your question. I hope Iman can come back so that we can ask her if the name was actually digital and what the name of the game is. Yeah, we cannot do anything, so it seems really to be some connection troubles. And yeah, I'm sorry about that. There's nothing we can do about that. So I guess there's a paper probably or some abstract in the where we can find out if this game was actually a digital game. and what the name of it was. Okay, so Iman is just typing. It is digital, and she wanted to show it to us. So that's really a pity that this was not possible. So I asked if she can tell us the name. And maybe it's possible to provide some recorded version for the backup. And she types, well, you might be able to see that anyway. It's called Vokatuki. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but you can see it in the chat window. Thanks, Iman.